Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the final match of the day, and it is a banger. Shanghai Dragons going up against the Vancouver Titans, the last expansion team that we have yet to see perform here on the Overwatch League stage. And you gotta expect these guys are gonna be very ready to dive in.
Oh, they certainly are. This has been kind of the lead up that this team has been waiting for, is when will we see Runaway in Overwatch League. They're now the Vancouver Titans. They're here. They made it to the big stage. They've got a long storied history on their way here. 6 seasons of Korean Overwatch, 2 grand final appearances before their 3rd, where they took the season 2 finals of contenders this year. This is a squad that has seen so much hardship. They've grown together as a squad. They've built so much synergy over the last few years, and now finally they're starting a new chapter here in the Overwatch League.
Yeah, leaving the pink behind. Sparks kind of picked that one up. Vancouver now adopting the green and blue and taking it to the Overwatch League stage, where they look to replicate that success that they found in Season 2 of Contenders. The Org Runaway has gone on to find much more success as well in Season 3. But Vancouver, with this roster, bringing in Repel of Element Mystic, otherwise keeping everybody pretty much together, looking to go ahead and dominate.
And they're up against the Shanghai Dragons, who had a bit of a struggle in their first opening match against another Chinese team, Hangzhou Spark. A little bit of inconsistency there in terms of their performance, but you can't be too hard on them. Gamsu was not playing. We saw a lot of flex from both Youngjin and Gegri into the main tank role between the Wrecking Ball and that Reinhardt. So today, I think we'll see a little bit more of a solid version of the Shanghai Dragons.
We'll have to see when we get to that starting lineup. But first, guys, welcome them to the stage. It's their first time they're here in Los Angeles, the Vancouver Titans.
It's been a long time coming to watch these players stand on the Overwatch League stage. Dreams of playing in this league. Finally, they've got one title under their belt with the Korea Championship for Season 2 of Contenders. But now, in the 2019 Overwatch League season, they're looking to build a new storyline, start a new chapter. As you mentioned, no longer in pink, but now in the green and blue. Here are our starting 6.
Yep, Bumper, of course, going to be there with Jono. These guys have been the bread and butter, the foundation of Runaway for so very long. Then So Minsu and Haksal will be our damage-dealing lineup. So Stitch going to be starting on the bench, then Twilight and Slime to round out for our supports. Fantastically done from them. Their opponents, though, still yet to pick up that win. Going to be vying for it. Might be a tough opponent for them in Vancouver. Let's go ahead and give another welcome to the Shanghai Dragons.
Shanghai, one of the massive fan favorites here in the Overwatch League. Gamsu, the new main tank, walks out first, leading the charge of this new team. He feels more comfortable here than he did on Boston. We'll see if Shanghai can pick up their first win tonight. Their first opponent against Hangzhou Spark, big favorites already here in week 1, was a tough match. And it's back-to-back tough matches for this squad, because now they face the former Runaway squad. But Gamsu is on the starting 6, so a real main tank this time.
Will be starting in, but you take a look at 4 of those names here on this team: Luffy, Koma, Ting, and Youngjin. Members formerly of Kongju Panthera, who did play against Runaway in that Season 2 championship, went the distance. We played 8 maps in a best of 7. Still not sure how that happened, and they just barely could not come out on top.
Yeah, there is a lot of parallels to be drawn to that grand finals where, Runaway, now Vancouver Titans, were able to come up on top. This is just a regular season match here, but it is the first time the majority of these players will play against a mostly American crowd here in the Overwatch League.
Well, let's go ahead and see where we're going for the map set presented by Toyota. Kicking us off, it's going to be Busan. Plenty of Koreans on stage. Might as well go for the Korean map. Then Hollywood to follow up as our hybrid Anubis for Assault and Dorado for Escort.
Stylistically, these maps favor 3-3, and Runaway is so good at that playstyle. Not to mention the Anubis map pick that comes through. That's the one that moves away from the 3-3. But historically speaking, for the Vancouver Titans, this roster has been so good at dive on this map. Haksal's favorite map by far. That's where he made a name for himself on the Genji many years ago. So you know, there's a lot riding on this, I think, in terms of the precedents that Vancouver has set in Korea. Now, can they repeat it here in Overwatch League? That's the question.
I mean, do we get to see Hoxell's Genji coming through? What is So Min-soo going to be running? Because going back to contenders was a lot of Doomfist for him. He was excellent at that pick, but it has really been shifted out of the meta after the recent changes to Doomfist. So not sure what he's going to be bringing to the table. If they're going to be doing 3-3, will he be the Brigida player instead of Hoxell? There's a lot of different things going on, but we also have to go back over to Shanghai Dragons and see how they are going to be playing with Gamsu in that main tank role. Can they take them down? Can they finally put that match victory on the board for themselves?
You know, it's going to take some time to adjust, honestly. Not only has Gamsu just recently joined the Shanghai Dragons, but this is a new Shanghai Dragons roster that hasn't played with him yet before. So there's a lot of adjustments that are going to have to be made throughout this first stage of the 2019 season. And I don't think that evolution can happen tonight. It's not going to happen that quickly. We have to really look at this as the Shanghai Dragons, even with Gamsu at the helm here, as underdogs.
Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Final matchup of the day, Vancouver on stage for the first time this season, Shanghai for the second. Gonna make another pass.
0-41 is the scoreline. And another back-to-back tough opponent now for them here in the 2019 season. We will see that patented 3-3 coming out. Vancouver Titans having the most success with this in Season 2, even defeating Kongdu Panthera, who had popularized it in Korea. Ding flexing over to the Sombra, though, and DM looking for line of sight on this Widow. Very difficult to execute.
Oh, Bumper, he went way off on his own, actually found DM taking him out. Getting rid of that Widowmaker. We've seen a couple different teams try to run the Widow here on Mecha base, and it hasn't found too much success.
One of the star players for sure on the Vancouver Titans is Bumper. Very aggressive. Winston knows when he could push the envelope in terms of that extra damage output, looking for picks. You're really running a risk trying to go for long-range hit scan with the Widowmaker here against a player that's so good at tracking those heroes down.
Already some late swap-ups here. Youngjin going to be moving over onto that Brigada. DM has been coming back in with the Tracer. So still backline potential for the Shanghai Dragons roster. Waiting for the action to unfold. Pile drivers there from Gamsu, going to be popping that adaptive shield, trying to stay alive. Bumper going low, jumps back up onto the high ground, matches him, zaps out a little bit. Hack comes in, hits everybody on the Vancouver Titans. That's going to be Bumper going down. DM now for a double kill as Twilight will also be taken out. 33% for the Vancouver Titans, but that could be flipped over to Shanghai right here, right now. Seems like that could be the case. It should be the case as Jono and Hoxell both fall.
Shanghai Dragons really hitting Vancouver with a chaotic engage, punishing Bumper's overextension there, turning his aggression into a weak point for the Titans, hitting that EMP at a surprise angle. No retreat left available for the Titans. And with all this damage output between the pile drives, the Tracer, and the Sombra, it's hard to deal with that when 4 members are EMP'd.
Pulse bomb ready. DM looking for an opening. Be a backline pick onto somebody like Slime or Twilight. Rallies out. Now expired, everyone armored up. Shanghai in control of the point. Could just try to wait out that armor. We'll see. Moving their way up. Pulse bomb not going to be finding a stick, not going to be finding really any damage. No kills to be had. Gamsu went in, dropped out that minefield. Goes low. Somewhere off screen trying to survive. Bumper in the meantime. Primal Rage is out, expiring, still zapping forward. Forces out that Transcendence from Luffy as he just tries to stay alive. The point is put back over into the favor of the Vancouver Titans now.
It's huge for the Titans because they're about to have a grab online here at Kilios, and that means that Trance is missing.
The EMP's out. Twilight's going to be down off the pile driver. Gamsu gets himself a double kill as Hoxell goes down as well. Luffy holding on by a thread, gets healed back up by that armor pack from Youngjin. Stays in the fight, and it's just going to be another fast flip coming back in the favor of the Shanghai Dragons.
It's incredible to see Gamsu gelling with his roster so early after being such a late acquisition to the team here. And he's actually carrying these fights with good pile driver engages. He can't do it alone. It requires good communication. It's an all-Korean roster here on the side of the Shanghai Dragons tonight, and you can absolutely feel the communication here for some of these engages is pretty flawless.
It's been good so far. About to take the lead as far as the percentage is concerned. A couple ultimates here to work with on either side. Grab does come out. So Min-soo looking to lock some people up. Quite see how that one went, but it does lead to 2 kills. Now all support's going to be gone. Pulse bomb comes through from DM, but he's not going to be able to get anything taken away by Jono's defense matrix. And again, another fast flip. Vancouver Titans will regain control.
Nice little eat there on DM's Pulse Bomb as well, coming out from Janu. Inconsequential at the end of the day. The Shanghai Dragons need this EMP to be big, so they need to get Ding into good position to utilize it. He's not actually flanking at the moment, he's just sticking with the main squad. Now you see him breaking off to the side. He's been seen though, this is a big problem. They need that EMP to retake this point.
Back cap coming through here at the moment. Bumper jumping up on the high ground, disrupting the supports, which is straight up into the face of Youngjin. He's gonna get stunned up the Primal Rage. Perfectly timed to keep himself alive, and Twilight manages to pick off Gamsu as the minefield comes through. Pound barrier in from Coma. Just trying to keep everybody else in the fight. They see that Vancouver is getting ready to tag 99%. Somebody's got to get over onto the point. DM is ready to go. Where's that OT actually even gets the cap?
Incredible plays here by Twilight. He got hacked, but he still got the kill. There was no counter trance, but it didn't matter. Shanghai is in serious trouble now.
Yeah, flipping back over. 2 members dead. That's going to be the supports. They only really have to rely on Youngjin at the moment. Now DM going to be gone. Another pulse bomb taken away by Janu, denying these left, right, and center. Every single time he tries to get one out, just cannot do it. Youngjin's going to go down. Now Gamsu dead. Seems like it's just going to be a matter of time as they gatekeep them back towards the spawn. OT will take away 186%. Vancouver Titans able to get the first round on Busan.
It wasn't easy. There were some struggles, but at the end of the day, they had a great follow-up there to the EMP.
Fantastically done, but guys, I'm being told that we have some insider information down on the floor with Danny Lim.
Thank you, Wolf and Achilles. So I actually got to talk with Bumper, the main tank of Vancouver Titans, earlier in the morning, and he felt like he was very, very confident going against the Shanghai Dragons because the 3-tank-3 support composition is the meta right now, and they have been playing this composition, the triple tank, triple support, ever since Season 2 of Contenders. So they have the experience and the knowledge to win against the Shanghai Dragons. Now, also, one other thing to note is that talking about contenders, Bumper actually said that top-tier Korean contender teams are either on par or even better than some of the Overwatch League teams. I am going to leave you guys with that. That is all I have. My name was Danny. Back to you guys, Wolf and Achilles.
Thank you very much, Danny. Ooh, some spiciness coming out of Bumper, calling out some of the out teams here.
I mean, he's not the only one who shares this opinion, but as we head into this, the point is controlled by the Titans at the moment here as we head into our second round. And it's very difficult to approach the Dragons here. They have a lot of harassment, but not hard to engage at the moment.
Yeah, another pile driver there for Gamsu. Luffy gonna find the first kill as Twilight does get taken down in that Zen 1v1 battle. Gonna give him a massive advantage in regard to that Transcendence, already above 75% as Johnny gets popped out of that mech. Basically done. Cap still not rolled in yet, but with these cleanup kills, Shanghai will be able to lock it down.
Very well played. Giving that opening pick, Luffy is actually really what allows the Shanghai Dragons to come through like this. If you compare ult charge here for the Zenyatta's now, he's got his online. Twilight not even halfway there. Now they have great ways to defensively engage the EMP, the starter. You can have the follow-up pile driver, pulse bomb, always going to be a threat. So for the Vancouver Titans, switching composition here seems to be the best way to move forward. Looking for long-range hit scan, and also the stun for Seominsu to lock down these harassing Tracers and Sombra plays.
Yep, gonna be pushing right around the corner. EMP in, and Twilight instantly disappears. Now Seominsu and Haksal both gonna be eliminated. Koma gets a nice double kill, sending Slime and Janu off the side of the map. Shanghai Dragons maintain control.
And that's the most efficient way you could hold it too. Really just one ultimate use there. Pulse bomb can build very quickly. The McCree idea, in theory, is good to shut down these fast-moving heroes, the Sombra and the Tracer. However, if you don't know where the Sombra is, it's hard to get that flashbang to connect, to get the stun, to eliminate Ding. Once again, he's hiding, he's looking for the harassment.
Rallies out. Haksal giving that armor. Youngjin gonna be matching on the other side. Pile drivers there. Bumper wasn't ready for it. Didn't have the Primal Rage. Gets popped instantly. And that should just be the retreat call coming through from Vancouver. If Shanghai will let them get out with their lives intact, seems like that's not gonna be the case. They go forward, they find Twilight. DM overstepping a little bit, will get taken out by Seominsu, but he pays for that one. Vengeance comes swiftly from Gamsu.
Gamsu, an absolutely incredible wrecking ball player here. In these first 2 rounds, he has really been leading the charge in these fights. Bumper, very aggressive primal here to stay alive, but unfortunately super disjointed. You have to imagine he's going to be swapping heroes here because otherwise this move is simply a big mistake.
He's still sticking through with it, actually. Not going to be going back to shift over to something like the Reinhardt. 93% here for the Shanghai Dragons. Can they close this out cleanly? That's going to be the EMP. Twilight taken down. Seominsu has managed to find DM. Vancouver Titans, they can't even get over onto the point in time. Slime so very close. 100-0 bounce back from Shanghai Dragons to tie this up.
And it's an uncharacteristic mistake to see Gamsu Primal there, or excuse me, not Gamsu, Bumper Primal in that moment, where it's the key ultimate you're gonna have to re-engage on the point. And unfortunately, he did not hold that. And that meant that Runaway, or excuse me, the former team knows Runaway, old habits die hard, right? You and I have been casting this team for a long time. Isn't able to re-engage there. It's been the story of Gamsu setting these fights up with Pile Driver, constant harass in the backline from Ding and DM. This dastardly duo of these fast-moving heroes that could kill supports. We saw so many EMPs land directly on top of Twilight. That means he's going to have his shields deleted, and he's not going to have the ability to transcend it, so he dies almost instantly in several of these fights. And as we move forward here, the composure on the side of the Vancouver Titans needs to come back here, because at the moment, we are just seeing quite a bit of misengages. And that overextension there of Bumper, using the Primal there, might have been a fat finger, we'll never know.
Hard
But
to
it
say.
certainly wasn't the right move.
It definitely was not, and yeah, did cost them quite a bit. Shanghai Dragons still very poised to take that, considering just the percentage lead in general. If Vancouver was going to be able to get that flip, likely would have been at 99%. We'll go ahead and take a look back at the round here on Sanctuary, where Gamsu was just popping off with this Wrecking Ball.
You can see he's tracking heroes like Summon Su, eliminating one of the bigger threats, the McCree here. Not using his minefield until absolutely necessary, but just being able to hound down heroes shows that he is a master of the grapple and using that mobility.
Yeah, that's that awkward moment right there at the end where Bumper decided to pop the Primal and then didn't have it to try and contest. Can't get there in time, 100-0 to tie things up on Busan. So rough position now to be in, especially after we go to Danny. Here's some trash talk from Bumper. Says, yeah, I think we're going to win it easily. I think that, contenders teams are better than some of the out teams. Now suddenly, you lose that round very convincingly. So this is a bit of an awkward corner to be backed into.
Oh, certainly so. And I think the momentum has definitely shifted back into the Dragons' corner here with this one. Using a different composition, throwing the 3-3 comp off here of the Titans. Even the first round we saw in Mecha Base wasn't an easy win. Let's take a look at Ding, though, because he's had quite a few big EMPs. The problem for Vancouver is not that they don't know how to deal with Sombra, because it's very common to see this in Korea versus 3-3, but it's that Ding has been able to elude their detection so many times. He's repeatedly avoided detection. He's gotten into these positions where the EMP can hit the entire squad, or most importantly, hit Twilight, as we saw in that highlight there where he gets the one clip there right after the shields are deleted. Very terrifying to play against a Sombra whose movement is so unpredictable, it's hard to track.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to spot him out, and it's good to see from Ding so far. It was one of the most hyped up damage players that we had going into the Contenders Korea seasons, and never really excelled that much, I suppose. It was kind of always in the shadow of Decay, who was always very much out in the forefront for Kongbu Panthera. But Ding already kicking things off with a bang here in this matchup, so fantastically done from him. We'll see if he can keep it up.
Yeah, Ding's one of the older players here too, along with the Runaway squad. He's been playing back since the Apex days as well. He's not as new as players like Youngjin, for example.
You got DM.
Yeah, DM as well, one of those older players. Youngjin, for example, a player came onto the scene a little bit later in the newer iteration of Kongbu Panthera. But enough about Korean history. I don't want to bore you guys with that. I'm going to go into this final round here. Gamsu once again on this Wrecking Ball. The Vancouver Titans will not change composition. They're going to stick with their guns here.
Yeah, same here for Shanghai. Still just going to be that Tracer Sombra coming through. So far, no real skirmishing happening. Bumper just going to be leaping back over towards the point. Just going to be chip damage being exchanged from either side.
High ground control here, very powerful for both the Tracer and the Sombra, actually. There's no way to approach here for the Titans. Outmaneuvered.
Be a little bit rough for TM as well, though. If he pushes onto that low ground, could get caught out by the Brigade, but no, he's just going to go forward, finds Bumper over by the train tracks. Takes him out with a couple nice headshots. Pulse Bomb nearly online already. First cap went away at Vancouver Titans, but Shanghai Dragons trying to gain control of DM. He is ensuring that that is going to happen. So many kills going over to the Tracer right now, hounding down Janu, trying to get that pop out on the mech. Not willing to invest a Pulse Bomb for it, though.
It's almost as if Shanghai Dragons has figured out Bumper's style, too. Look at his ult charge right now, only sitting at 30%. He comes in, he's aggressive. Shanghai Dragons immediately identifies where he's trying to retreat to. They collapse on him and kill him while he's at half health away from his supports. And that punish play is really costing the Titans big. Now he swaps over to the Rhine, but that bought a lot of time for the Dragons. They've already caught up in control meter.
Now going to be exceeding it. Ding getting closer to another impactful EMP. Pulse bomb set, throws it down. Did he find the stick? Got a lot of damage in, but not going to be finding a kill. Transcends out now from Twilight, keeping Janu in that mech. EMP set, tosses it down. Ding goes low, jumps back to the translocator. Will be able to stay alive. Minefield goes straight in front, and Bumper gets caught up in the mess of things. Taken down now, and Vancouver Titans struggling again to even get onto the point. Still pushing forward. Sound barrier out from Vancouver, still committing to this fight. Bomb out onto the point, clears Shanghai Dragons back, buys some space for Vancouver to inch forward, but it's not netting them a cap.
Really rough here. The grab, though, is good. There's no follow-up trans.
Front of the back. Double kill for Seo Min-soo. Youngjin goes down as well. Now massive advantage over to the side of Vancouver Titans in the fight. And it's right before the support ultimates come online for Shanghai.
94 and 95%. A razor-thin window here for that grab to come online. Had it been a few seconds later, as you can see here, Luffy and Koma would have been able to counter it. So barely sliding under the door here is the Vancouver Titans getting onto this point. Gobsu ready to come back up with a follow-up engage, though. He's been so safe with how he plays this Wrecking Ball. He's sneaking around, but he's only committing to these fights when the Titans don't know his approach angle, so they can't set up for a stun. Haksal is not able to shut him down.
Oh, pulse bomb in to the back, looking for that pickoff. Unable to find it. Yeah, I'm just going to be looking to build for another one. Gobsu will get popped. Janu finds that kill. Sound barrier's out. Damn, manages to get Seo Min-soo. Can he do more? Youngjin going to be taken out. Haksal comes up with a triple kill on the Brigade. Gets rid of the entire support line.
So much extra healing there as well. When the supports of the Shanghai Dragons are going down early, you have all that extra AoE. Now he's going to have the rally here to survive through the next attack. The biggest concern, though, for the Titans here is there's no counter to the EMP. Whether he hits Twilight Slime or not doesn't matter this time because they don't have those support ultimates anyways. So Vancouver Titans need to avoid him.
Oh, Ding right off the top, catches 5 members. Twilight still staying alive, however. Haksal pops the rally, helps keep him alive, but Bumper will be a casualty. Gobsu wrapping around, another minefield getting ready to come online. 81% at the moment for Vancouver Titans. Hacking onto Seo Min-soo. He's going lower, losing the shields, gets top back up, grabs nearly online. Can they use that to maintain control? Janu denies away another pulse bomb from the DM. The grab comes out, they lock him in. Youngjin and Ding go down. Bomb up over the top. Janu looking for a pick, and he'll get 2 of them. Buy one, get one.
It was almost a lost fight for the Titans as well, but they still come back, they still recover. They survive long enough to get that sound barrier up, and they're going to take the map here very narrowly, 2-1. Crisis management at an all-time high here for Runaway, and 5 members are EMP'd. They keep their cool. The first time on stage in the Overwatch League, and they still make it happen.
Fantastically done there by Vancouver, but very close. Shanghai Dragons certainly in this fight. Let's see if they can tie it up when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Vancouver Titans able to pick up their first map win here in the 2019 season, but by a very narrow margin. Shanghai Dragons certainly giving them a run for their money on Busan. 2-1 victory for Vancouver. They will take the lead in this series, but this looks like it's going to be competitive the whole way through.
Certainly does, but I really feel like the Vancouver Titans are not ready for the EMPs we're seeing from Ding. They're never able to track his positioning. He's getting too many big ones. Even still, the responses have been good. The basically retreats into re-engaging has been good, but I worry for Vancouver Titans for the longer series, how much more could they sustain through, because this is just the first style of comp we're seeing from the Shanghai Dragons tonight. Later on, we're going to see more depth. They're going to clash against their regular 3-3 you have to expect. So they win this narrowly, but I do expect, as you say, we're going to have a close series all the way through.
I mean, might just be another Game 5. Never know. We just had one in our last series between Spark and Valiant. Let's just throw in another one. Why the heck not? We had a pretty fast start to the day, so we might as well go ahead and go the distance in our last 2 series. But will be a couple changes getting ready to come up here for the Shanghai Dragons. We'll go ahead and take a look at the substitution. It's going to be Gregory joining them up on stage.
Big fan favorite. I have not commentated Gregory since she was on the Rocks Orcas. Yep, long time ago. Now a star of the Overwatch League will sub in for Ding. We always have the Sombra player, usually the Diva flex, so that's the replacement there. So as a result, we'll probably see Gregory come back in on Diva here. Gets to finally play her main role here instead of kind of flexing onto the Wrecking Ball like we saw in their previous match against the Hangzhou Sparks. So you have to expect to see a lot more comfort from Gregory here as we head into this.
Yeah, I think given the way that Summonsoo is playing with that Zarya, you kind of want to have a Diva in the mix. We saw how much Janu was able to deny away from DM with those pulse bombs getting eaten. I think he had 3 or 4 taken away throughout the duration of Busan. So not being able to negate the Graviton surges can be a bit harmful, but putting Gregory in the mix should certainly help them in that regard and keep the team safe.
Yeah, it's going to be, as we head into Hybrid, very important to have a Diva player on your squad to control high and low ground. It's going to be Hollywood as the map.
There's plenty of high and low ground here.
2 big things on A are the high-low ground control for the Zarya, the Diva, and also the Zenyatta ult building charts here. So the matchup between Luffy and Twilight will be super critical in terms of who's going to get that transfer. So if the attacking team is able to do that, they're going to have a massive advantage and a huge window to use that extra sustained healing to take A.
Hollywood going to be seen again here today. How much success these guys can have. Of course, both of these teams, plenty of experience. Hollywood been around for a very long time, since the inception.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite hybrid maps as well.
It's a very good one. A lot of different comps that you can run. Obviously 3-3, very prevalent on the beginning on point A, but on defense, you can always get that Orisa, McCree, the hook combos coming through. Potentially, but yeah, like that might not be the case here.
I love how there's 3 basically types of maps here as well. You've got this archway control, then you've got the high-low ground on A. The street space very wide open, and then a lot of chokes for the final point of C. So a lot of different comps can be used here, but also a lot of skills are tested here, You can't just win this map if you're good at one type of comp or one type of meta or one small skill set. To get all the way to C, you have to kind of play through several different types and be able to understand how choke points work, wide open spaces work, high-low ground works. Will be the Titans defending first. So we really want to take a look at Twilight versus Luffy in terms of that damage output, who gets the trance first, and also can Gregory help them get control of this high ground now on the Diva as they approach on attack.
Well, proper 3-3 for Shanghai Dragons. Youngjin still going to be here on that Brigitte. Was one of the best ones that we had in Korea during Season 2. Bumper right up in front, looking for some swings, but doesn't get that much charge, nor does Gamsu. But they're just going to be cutting up onto the high ground. See which way they want to approach. Drop down, take the staircase. Seems like it might be the former.
DM here, though, having this high ground is so important.
Oh, they're wrapping around. Titans bringing the fight up to the Shanghai Dragons. Koma goes low, nearly gets picked off, but he can't quite follow up for the kill. Now down onto the point. 1 tick going to be gained for the Shanghai Dragons. Fantastic start for them. Playing a ring around the rosy here with the Titans. Halfway to that next tick, but now Gamsu in a corner, tries to charge his way out, but 100 energy for Minsu. He just beams him down, melts him out of there. Now Gregory out of the mech, and as soon as he sees that, it's the call for the grab. Locks him up, the kills come in. All shot off with a nice double kill for Twilight at the end.
Minsu, one of the big critical parts of the Runaway roster that won that Contender Season 2 finals on the Zarya. He had his best performance ever on that stage. Originally mostly a Doomfist player when he first came onto the scene, but he's shown a lot more depth since then. Max synergy early in that fight is going to guarantee them the team fight win. However, DM's about to have his own grab. There's an opportunity here if they get the high ground.
All right, do have a pause. So we'll go ahead. Get that taken care of so we can jump back into the action. Luckily, No fighting happening here at the moment, so fairly safe spot for both of these teams when the resume does come through. But just taking a look at it, Vancouver Titans pretty well poised for that defense. About 5 ultimates online. Bumper's 4% away from that shatter. We've seen, though, for some teams, that number of ultimates not mattering when it comes down to attacking or defending an objective.
I mean, sometimes, especially in a meta like this, your ult count does really matter, but it's which ultimates you have and how you use them that really sets you apart. Exactly, because just if you have 6 ultimates, it doesn't mean you're going to win the fight if you can't use them properly, or if you get denied. So there's a lot of different ways the Shanghai Dragons can either win that fight with their ultimate usage being better if they can get up there and get on the high ground, or, for example, they can bait out those ultimates and then engage right afterwards on a follow-up push. They still have a decent amount of time since that was realistically their first attack. It was a longer one, but they've still got time in the bank, so this is not their last attack by any means.
Oh, yeah, plenty more opportunities to come back in if this one does not work out for them, but they themselves racking up those ultimates, so they do very much have a fighting chance. But we'll have to see when we can jump back in. But still looking quite good. And actually, here we go! Asking each down receive. Straight back into the action. As I said, ultimate's coming online. Really just going to be lacking that rally from Youngjin. Speaking of which, Hoxall going to be using his own. Up the struck into the front. Janu! Oh, he just drops it right in front of the car and gets a triple kill casually. That Kamsu, he take it way downtown in Hollywood. And he'll get picked off. That's a wipe.
This is Bumper as well, splitting them up, cutting them in half. That means there's just no way to get away from that self-destruct. If you run away to the right side, in terms of Vancouver Titans' perspective, you're going to die anyways and get staggered further because you're not getting back to your squad. You're cut in half. If you try to rejoin, then you're going to die to the self-destruct. It's a catch-22 problem. Really nice engage by Bumper. Janu instantly follows up. This tank duo is one of the most fearsome tank duos to enter the Overwatch League. Trust me on this one. You're going to see a lot more of this.
Oh, here we go, pushing forward. DM going to be looking for this Graviton surge. Shatter comes out from Bumper. Doesn't look like he caught anybody. Kamsu, shield up in time. Bomb straight in on top of their heads, but they cannot get the kills on the pop. Sound barrier now out from Slime. Answering Shatter. Catches 2. Minsu going to be taken down. It's just going to be a 2 for 2 so far. Bumper charges back through, manages to find Luffy, takes him out, now getting some back swings there onto DM, finishes him off. They're trying to hound down Koma, but it seems like he might be able to make it back to spawn with his life.
Unfortunately, I think the charge there from Gamsu actually had a bit of counter synergy as we see the stagger here onto Geguri here, but the charge from Gamsu kind of counter-engaged with what they were trying to set up with that Diva Bomb, and that means that that's going to be another failed push. And last time we said there were a lot more chances. There was a lot of time left in the bank. Not so much anymore here. It's going to have to be a slow push to that Grav.
Bumper's got another shatter, by the way.
Yes.
Built that one up, pushes right into their face. Another ultimate. Just knocks them all right to the ground. Luffy and Koma gonna be gone off the bat. No support, no chance. Another wipe, and Geguri will get staggered again.
Yeah, 4 hit by the shatter, including Geguri, who will now be staggered to death here. 30 seconds left on the clock. And if Twilight gets that Transcendence, you could kiss this attack goodbye. Only 1 tick gained, 54.9. Shanghai Dragons, it's desperation time now. An opening pick would be huge.
And they set up the grab. Can Geguri take this one away? Kamsu, he's just gonna die. Minsu doesn't even use the ultimate. Now we'll go ahead and do so right in front of the car again. Bombs in, no shield really to block it, but Bubble is there from DM, keeps himself safe. Graviton surge in, Twilight pops the Transcendence to keep he and Bumper safe. The rest of Shanghai in onto the point, trying to get this one moving, but the shatter is out from Bumper again, locking up the supports in the back line. Youngjin, dangerously low, trying to stay alive, will get picked by Twilight. Bumper, a slur of HP. Can somebody finish him off? They'll finally get him as Koma goes forward with the right click, but Twilight is the one getting the kills here for his squad. A double for him, Janu follows up on the Luffy. Now Kamsu's gonna be gone. Vancouver Titans trying to pull off this full hold. It seems like they might just be able to do it as they pop Geguri out and finish her off.
So much damage done here by Twilight in the fight. That is the hold. Very well played here by the Vancouver Titans. This time, when it's 3-3 versus 3-3, they excel. No tricks, no Sombra, no Wrecking Ball. When it's a mirror matchup, they excel.
Well, there you have it. Full hold for the Titans. Let's see how they fare on their attack when we come back from the break. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 54.9%. That is what the Shanghai Dragons were able to acquire on their point A assault. Could not get that cap, could not advance into the streets phase. Vancouver Titans now poised to move up 2-0 in the series.
It's only going to take 55% of A to make that happen, which means Shanghai Dragons are going to have as flawless of a defense, and you have to question whether that is possible on a map where on A, there's just not really much you can run outside of the 3-3, and Vancouver comes in, Bumper says they're the best 3-3 team in the league. It's a bold statement here, but already in their first series of Overwatch League, I think it's kind of holding up at this point. High ground control here, Geggery's gonna have to maintain that.
Already Minsu building up that energy quite nicely. Looks like Vancouver Titans gonna be moving up onto the high ground and trying to match them.
They're gonna have to jump off here.
We'll just go ahead, work their way back down. Wrap around the back side of the point. Start inching their way forward. Oxel moving forward, looking for that stun. He's gonna get tagged up down below half HP. Slowly taking it back up. Minsu finds Youngjin. That's gonna be the opening here. Shanghai Dragons, they need that break back immediately. Vancouver Titans in onto the point, start taking this one up. DM trying to poke his way in from the side. Gamsu going dangerously low in the back. The stun comes through. Minsu follows up for the kill. They do lose out on Bumper, but DM and now Geggery gonna be popped out of the mech. This will be the cleanup, and it looks like this might just be it. Still with 3 minutes on the clock. Vancouver Titans will get the cap here on A, will move up 2-0.
Easy peasy, very quick attack. That is gonna win them the map, put them at a 2-0. So far, so good for this time, or rather their first time on the Overwatch League stage.
Yeah, 2-0 here. Shanghai Dragons need to try to pull up a reverse sweep. Let's see if they can do it when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
The Vancouver Titans are looking good in their Overwatch League debut as they're up 2-0 over the Shanghai Dragons at the half. We're back for our last halftime of the day. Malik here, got Mr. X and Uber with me. Guys, the Dragons, they got Gamsu in the lineup now, but it doesn't seem like that's doing much for them so far.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they've had much prep time with Gamsu. It seems like a little bit out of position.
We know they haven't, right? I would almost hesitate to say they looked more cohesive with Youngjin at the main tank position prior in this week, so that will take some time to work on. It was really exposed a lot on their Hollywood attack. Gamsu sort of not being with the team a little bit. You know, he wants to extend. He wants to play aggressive like Bumper does, but the rest of his team's not on the same page.
Exactly, exactly. Well, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights, starting with that first map. We're at Busan, and you know what? It was actually a little bit closer in the first map. It wasn't a complete wash.
Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't know really what to expect from the Vancouver Titans, like whether they were going to come out and dominate or it was going to be kind of like 50-50. Yeah. This is kind of what I expected, at least at the start. Like, you know, the game was going to be a little scrappy, a little bit more 50-50. Map 2 is a completely different beast.
Right, indeed.
Even over the course of this map, though, so Haksal, his Brigitte performance was actually very scary. You don't often see Brigitte taking responsibility for a lot of these kills. Ding, of course, having his impact there. Johnny was widely regarded as the best diva in Korea, full stop, before making his way over here. So we're not surprised to see him perform at this kind of level.
Did they stay on the Tracer for too long on that last point?
I mean, maybe, but I think you're just trying to do something that maybe they're a little bit more comfortable with if you're the Dragons. Like, playing this triple support, triple tank comp, you need a ton of teamwork coordination. Obviously, Vancouver has it. Shanghai, just throwing Gamsu in there, it doesn't really have that right now.
I just want to point out that obviously D.Va is a little bit weaker in terms of how easy her defense matrix is to use at the moment, and yet we're still seeing incredible plays from a lot of these individuals who've found ways to really make the hero work for them. Obviously, a lot of the time it's in context of using it with a Graviton Surge, but a lot of these exciting, these big self-destruct kills are being set up often either without the Graviton Surge being present or just from unexpected angles. So players are still innovating. We talked, last year about Poco being this, crazy D.Va player. He practiced all the setups. He would sort of triangulate his trajectory and make sure he got huge multi-kills, but a lot more players are doing it now, and that may not look so remarkable in the future.
All right, well, let's talk about one of the standout players for the Vancouver Titans in that first half, Haksal. He's going pretty crazy on that Brigitte, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he puts on a show on Brigitte. We were looking at some of his stats, a lot more final blows than some of the other Brigittas we've seen thus far.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
Yeah.
I believe, I could be wrong, I believe I heard this being talked about once. His name actually means something akin to massacre in Korean. It's quite macabre, but 10 final blows on the map. So this is really what I want to point out now. This is a significantly large number because quite often Brigitte is not required to really take responsibility for finishing those final blows. It's often Zarya, Reinhardt, or Divas in there. 10 final blows was what DM had on Tracer. So this is the highest amount of final blows in the server. We saw Haksal get that quick triple, that 3-piece. He's really getting involved in a lot of the fighting, and it's making a big difference. Very aggressive, bloodthirsty play.
You know what's crazy about that to me? Brigitte doesn't do the same amount of damage as she did when she first came out.
Yeah, Shield Bash is down to 5 damage instead of 50 as it was.
Right, man. That is wild. Okay, guys, that's it for halftime. But guys, be sure to get your all-access pass for 2019. The Command Center lets you watch any player POV you want every match, and it's only $15 this year. So go ahead and do that. But guys, the second half is coming up, so we'll be right back after the break.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Vancouver Titans currently leading this series 2-0. Shanghai Dragons need a reverse sweep if they want to get their first match win in Overwatch League history. Busan and Hollywood going the way of the Titans. Now over to Temple of Anubis, which historically for this roster, Wolf, has been an excellent map pick.
And in all metas as well, not only in the dive meta, the 2-2-2 that we saw Runaway excel with when Huxall was on the Genji, when we had Stitch Tracer, but then later on in Reaper metas, later on, of course, in what is now known as the 3-3, the defensive Stitch Widow on the Treehouse quote-unquote meta with the Orisa.
Yep.
Every type of meta we've seen on Anubis, the Titans in this roster have excelled. So, you know, it feels like an uphill battle for the Shanghai Dragons in every way, not just the score line here, but as we head into maps where that extra depth we just saw with the Sombra and the Tracer on Busan, it's just not realistic to expect that level or that type of composition here. They're going to have to match again, and that has not been working.
Well, let's see what these guys can pull off. Shanghai Dragons on the attack first. Titans on the defense. Shots coming down, just gonna be that left side push, wrap around, get onto the mid ground here. Already, Titans shifted over, Bumper's got the shield ready. Bubbles out, just trying to farm some energy over to Min-Soo.
DM leading the charge, trying to get that energy.
Oh, he's right click, starting to do a lot of damage here, but now they're pushing out. They're pushing against the Titans. DM going lower and lower. Gamsu going to be stunned. They burn him down. Slime comes up with the kill. Now DM going to be gone. Twilight again getting himself a double kill. Has been fragging out of control on this Zenyatta.
Bit of greed there by DM, using the bubble early to hope that he was going to absorb some damage, get that energy, and then fly through, bleed Janu's health bar out, and then win the fight. But instead, he gets caught. He's picked off early. And now, if you compare his ult charge, 30 to 70 currently on the Zaryas here. So unfortunately, massive lead here for the Vancouver Titans now. And Shanghai just has to slowly approach. They can't do this again and fail, or Vancouver's gonna be walking away with 6 ultimates.
Working their way forward, trying the right side approach this time. Look at all the damage coming down, and Bumper's got the shatter ready to go. Comes to the first one to be dropped now. Youngjin gone. This will just be cleanup time now here for the Titans. Just the shatter, all they had to invest. They lose out on Twilight before he can get that Transcendence. But he'll be working his way back over to the squad very shortly.
And when you're losing this much, I mean, when look at Bumper, he's already about to lap Gamsu 48 to 52. When you're this far behind, it feels like you've already been given your death sentence because the Vancouver Titans are going to hit you with ultimates again. You're going to have to reset again. There's no way when they have high ground control like this to really steal it away and get an ult efficient fight, barring a huge mistake from the Titans. And they're just playing safe up here.
Yep, 4, nearly 5 ultimates, nearly online. Bumper can get that next one very quickly. Trapped on Surge, locks him up into the wall. Pins there for Gamsu. He'll stay alive with the bomb. Is thrown at the back. Not going to be able to find any kills. Now the shatter's out from Bumper. Knocks him to the ground, but still no one on the side of the Shanghai Dragons going to be taken out. Sound barriers out from Coma. Hoping to keep them in the fight. Slime holding on to one of his own. Waiting for another opportunity. Now slams it down as they make their way over onto the point. Bumper going to be swinging away into the front line. Nice shield from Bumper. Blocks out on that shatter. Gamsu not going to be able to find anything, and Bumper gets a kill onto Youngjin. Hickory going lower and lower, nearly popped out of the mech, but does have that self-destruct to make it back in. We'll just be throwing it down straight in onto the point as Gamsu gets a fire strike on a Huxall.
Really nice plays by Min-Soo to try to buy time. Good engage by DM though, and Shanghai has total control at the moment.
Yeah, push forward there onto Janu, trying to knock him out of the mech. So far, still have not been able to do it, but they do get rid of Twilight. Slime hovering around somewhere, trying to keep the rest of his team healthy, but they're in onto the point, and Shanghai Dragons have finally broken through. They will get this cap on A and have just over 5 minutes in the bank.
First signs of life since Busan. Great engaged by DM. It was the miracle they needed there to break through, getting that opening kill onto the Titans. Bumper comes in, gets picked again after the respawn, and the Titans try to do what they could to burn through the time bank. They bring it down to 5 minutes. They've got nice ults here, but still, first time Shanghai's got momentum in 2 maps here.
The way forward, nearly another grab for DM. Can he recreate that play on A? Here to go ahead and finish Temple of Anubis with a very healthy time bank. Grabs in onto the pillar, locking him up, but he can't really push around the side because there's an opposing grab coming out. And Bumper will be able to take down Gamsu right up into that front line. Now Lovely gonna fall. Clean up again for the side of the Titans as they just chase Shanghai back towards the spawn.
Really nice defensive engage here for the Titans. Ult efficient as well, so they're gonna, even with this stagger, further get rid of that time bank. But it's engages like this when your opponent has 5 minutes left that you really want, because the stagger especially really gets that time bank down. But now look, even though they used the rally there and the grab, they still have 4 more ultimates now to defend the ensuing pushes from the Shanghai Dragons. Had to use everything, different story.
Well, there's, 15 seconds bought right there. Twilight just gonna be sniping Luffy.
Yeah. I mean, every single kill in a situation like this, when you're the attacking team, means you have to start over. And you say 15 seconds, that's a bit conservative. I'd say we're really looking at like almost 30 here because you got to get reset. Bumper
sinking in from the back. The shatter comes down. Good night. Haksal follows up, gets Gamsu. This guy has been doing this for ages, and still people don't look both ways.
But the thing is, you would think overall, when you watch a play like this, it feels like a fundamental mistake by the Shanghai Dragons to not check for this, but it's almost silly that it would be that far forward, not to mention that it's a mental game. You just lost Luffy, you're coming back, you're frustrated, you're in comms talking about your next ultimate combo, and then suddenly you don't look 2 ways before you cross the street, Bumper catches you. They have 5 ultimates now for the attack, but with both the support ultimates available for the Titans, it's not a good look for the Dragons regardless. 100 energy for Summon Su.
In all of this, just skirmishing. And the grab. DM only halfway there. This pillar's been quite friendly to the Titans. Might just be the placement again. No, actually straight into the front, locking them down. Bomb thrown in, pin comes out. Not gonna be able to find any kills yet. Now it's gonna be the Transcendence that's got to. Finds the first one as Haksal goes down just to the shatter damage alone. Bumper trying to get out of there. The sound barrier keeps him alive. He turns back around, gets the shatter. Oh my gosh, knocks him right out of the park. It was looking so good for Shanghai, but the sound barrier from Slime combined with the shatter from Bumper means they win the fight again.
And it's a perfectly timed transcendence from Luffy. Right after that fight though, as soon as the trance wears off, Bumper's in position, he's ready to punish. Gregory once again staggered to the maximum. Very common to see on Temple of Anubis in particular. It's such a long run back from A to B. It's really easy to just prevent that Diva from getting home. And now, Vancouver Titans, 42% for another shatter for Bumper. But they just have this positional advantage. When those support ults for Shanghai, this approach is so difficult to make work. Because when you come up, you're taking so much damage on the way in. If you have a trance, for example, that's how you're going to get on top of the point. Look at all the damage they're taking from Summon Su, who's again, still at 80 energy here.
Yep, playing up, the grab ready to go. I'm having deja vu all of a sudden here, Wolf. 94 energy coming out. Bombs out from Gregory, looking for a pick. So Minsu actually going to be taken down before he can use that Graviton Surge. Now Bumper under fire, just trying desperately to back up. The fire strike's going to be good. Finds Jungjin right before the rally can come in, but Koma follows up for the kill onto the Rhine. Bomb into the front. John not able to find anything, but makes it back into the back safely. Shanghai pretty entrenched in on the point at the moment, trying to get this cap rolling through. So far, not gaining any percentage, but still winning the fight and looking good. John going to be knocked out, so Minsu's still dead.
Looking to just buy time right now with the Transcendence. The sound barrier will be used the same way for Slime. He's going to try to stay on those pillars and stay alive.
Catches 4 members, but it's not enough. He got the shield onto Bumper, but he still could not stay in the fight. Haksal desperately swapping over onto the Doomfist, will get picked off, but now Shanghai are just starting to tick up onto the point. They get halfway to the first one, now have the sound barrier in. Still turning around delay. The top of the point. Slime trying to delay as best as possible. One tick going to be coming down. Graviton Surge going to be thrown in.
Here's
they have
delay.
to wait. Now they start pushing back out. Cheddar comes in, but Gamsu's got the shield raised. Blocks that out. Twilight going low. Haksal again going to be taken down. So Minsu on the Hammond. Eliminated. Shanghai Dragons so very close. Vancouver Titans would love to force out that OT. They just keep buying as much time as they possibly can, but they still need 13 more seconds. And with Janu going down, they're not going to find it. 11, I believe, on the clock. Shanghai get the completion here on Temple of Anubis.
Very close call there. Good staggers. They were not playing for the full defense. They were playing to deplete the time bank, and what a successful defense it was. Slime on the pillars. Shanghai with a terrible time bank.
Yeah, they do get the finish, though, so let's see what Vancouver can do on their attack when we come back. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Shanghai Dragons barely able to get some time in the bank on their attack. 11 seconds is all that remains, but they keep their hopes alive when it comes down to those potential overtime rounds if they cannot hold off Vancouver Titans.
It's very important that they get those 11 seconds and don't get the overtime.
You see what they're doing right now?
Yeah, it's going to be
Because I see what they're doing right now.
Torbjorn here for the defense. The crossfire, the good old Element Mystic special. Gamsu on the Orisa. They've got barriers. It's going to be a crossfire. DM and Youngjin will be on opposite sides. This is due to Youngjin's massive hero pool. They can pull this up. Vancouver has now seen it. And it looks like they're going to go swap composition. You can't really assault this position.
No, they're just playing back around the corner. They still are getting ready to advance.
It's greedy to stick with this comp against this. I don't know about this.
Start pushing their way around. DM going to be grappling over to the side. Has a very nice angle right down this doorway.
Gonna have free pot shots. There's no one who can contest him right now outside of Twilight. And as you can see, he's unsuccessful.
Yeah, pushing forward straight through the barrier. Now not going to have that great of an angle. Turret going to be the first thing to fall. Bumper still playing far forward, but the armor pack helps keep him alive. And Gamsu going to get picked by Slime. In exchange of the main tanks, but now Luffy gone. Now Youngjin taken out. Hoxall just swinging away with the mace. Gets himself a double kill, and they will nut themselves a cap on A.
Very well played by the supports on Runaway. Without that healing, Bumper dies after killing the turret, and Shanghai can absolutely stabilize. Look at how much damage DM did in that fight. He built his ultimate just throughout that one team fight alone, but it's not enough. It doesn't matter if Widow does a ton of damage if she can't secure kills, and that's what the supports on Vancouver Titans prevented from happening, especially Hoxall there on the Brigida. He builds a rally here, and this is now a terrifying follow-up push that could lead to a double cap and a massive time bank.
Pushing their way forward. Summonsoo going to be looking to build up for that grab, get that energy rolling. Hoxall playing up, shield bash is there. Bumper gets the pin on the Gamsu, takes him down. Hoxall way up onto the point, gets stunned up, but he's not even worried about it. Has that armor rolling through from the rally, and he can keep Bumper safe. Titans are in onto the point. The first tick already going to be gained. Trying to gate them out off this left side. Luffy going to get locked up in the Transcendence. Or in that Graviton Surge with the Transcendence rolling. Geggery using the self-destruct, trying to find a pick. Makes it back into the mech safely, however. The Shatter out from Bumper. Not really going to be catching too much. Nice counter charge there from Gamsu. Knocks both Ryans to the ground. Vancouver Titans, though, still rolling so very close, just 4% away from having a massive time bank here on Temple of Anubis. Now it's going to be the sound barrier out from Slime. We're going to keep Twilight alive. He's got a sliver of HP remaining on the Zenyatta, but it looks like it doesn't matter. No one can follow up for the kill. They will be able to get that cap right at the end. DM just dashing through a second too late.
They're gonna be very happy, the Dragons, that they were able to get those 11 seconds, but it's not gonna matter all too much in the end with 6:42 versus the 1 minute they'll be granted. And Achilles, this is what we like to call an all-in in esports, meaning what we saw with the Torbjorn is a strategy that can throw an opponent off, totally blindside them, and get you a win easily, or at least really deplete a time bank. But the other side of the coin is when it fails, when you have to swap all your heroes, you start off with zeros across the board on ultimates. Your opponent not only comes in with a massive time bank, but has those ultimates built from the A, and that's why you see those snowbally two-cap pushes like we just saw from Vancouver Titans. So, you know, they took a big risk, the Dragons did. And when you're at 11 seconds of a time bank, totally understandable. But now that it fails, we're looking at nearly a 6-minute buffer here for the Titans. It is not a good look at the moment. This is going to have to be a double cap themselves for the Shanghai Dragons, but as it turns out, the Titans are not running the Torbjorn defense.
No, they are not. They're not that, they don't have to go all in that much. But with the massive time bank, so 6:42, relatively unheard of, especially in the Overwatch League. That is absolutely massive.
It's going to have to be the miracle push here for the Dragons. Gamsu leading the charge. One falter, and it's all over.
Pushing forward, keeping it standard with that 3-3. Playing up around the left-hand side, waiting to push forward. Shields up. Work their way through. Bumper already pushing forward, aggressively trying to get that fire strike. Doesn't net him any hits, though. Now the swings coming down as Zarya bubbles go out onto both of these Reinhardts. Fire strike, very good for Bumper. Surges up to 63%. Gamsu going to be taken down. Shanghai Dragons, the first volley does not work. They got to reset right now because they only have one more chance.
They keep taking these doorway pushes here, and that means the fire strike's always going to get massive value in that tiny window where everyone's trying to come through. He's got the Shatter online now, triple the ultimate of Gamsu.
Bumper's got it, yeah.
There's just no way the Shanghai Dragons could do this, right? I mean, it just feels impossible.
Can they even tag is going to be the question. Shatter comes down as Bumper pushes right up into the front. Gamsu does manage to get a pin in on a Hawk, so when they have to get to the point, seems like they are able to do so. Gamsu's there.
They're on it.
Couple members hovering nearby. John going to get popped out of the mech. Nearly one tick going to be gained. They almost snagged that for themselves. A little bit more of a fighting chance. But the rest of Vancouver Titans are collapsing forward, looking to clean them up, and they will do just that. Pin gonna miss on Tacoma, but the beam from So Min-soo will take him out of the fight. OT ticks down, and now Shanghai Dragons, strap in, you're in for one heck of a ride. If they can pull off this hold, it would be the most impressive thing that I've ever seen.
Bumper's
not just an Overwatch.
I mean, sure.
It's my life.
Bumper's got the ceremony there before the map is over as he flicks through heroes here, knowing that this map in this series is 33% of point A of Anubis away. Really rough stuff here for the Dragons now. It's got to feel hopeless. As you say, would be one of the craziest feats we have ever seen if this defense could happen. The Titans come through as the superior 3-3 team, as obviously evident now after watching these two back-to-back maps of this. And it looks to be that we will once again see the all-in for the Dragons. And I can't blame them for this because, I mean, if you're going to try to match 3-3, you've already lost that matchup many, many times. So why not try something different here?
Speaking of different, not sure if this is just going to be a little bit of a hover fan service, but Haksal at the moment showing the Genji.
Can be very effective against the Torbjorn defense, especially if you can get past the turret.
Get on top of that Widowmaker.
Exactly, and there's nothing really that the Shanghai Dragons could do about it with this Brigida-less comp.
Well,
it's not going to happen, but...
You said the words.
I know. That's how it is with us. Whenever we say, I think this might be real, it never is.
Yeah, we'll just be the completed 3-3. They can anticipate exactly what Shanghai Dragons will be running. Makes sense that they would try to go for it again, try to find success this time around. So Min-soo getting that energy. Bubble's already used. Not going to have it this time for the push, but they're considerably further back this time are the Dragons.
All right, speed boosting across.
They work their way up. Twilight getting rid of that pesky turret. Takes that one away from Youngjin, who's up over the top. DM taking some shots. Slime goes up, gets a boop. Gamsu going to be taken down as Haksal finds the kill. Now Twilight sniping out the Torb. He's been taken out. Luffy going to be gone. Gegari now eliminated. And that will just be it, the one tick, all that they need. Vancouver Titans take Temple of Anubis. They take this series 3-0. One more map to be played, but Shanghai Dragons gonna have to wait for another day to get that win.
Yeah, you gotta feel for those guys. Two tough matchups in a row, but it will not be their night tonight.
One more map to be played. Escort gonna be coming up. Let's see if Shanghai can spare their blushes a bit when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bit of a solemn time now if you're a fan of the Shanghai Dragons. Unfortunately, unable to get the match victory here today. Vancouver Titans just too tough of an opponent, but they do look improved. They have Gamsu now starting for them as a main tank. They look like a more cohesive unit with him leading the charge rather than trying to flex Gregory and Youngjin in and out of that main tank role. So I think that there is certainly hope for these guys. They are much improved, and they will, I'm gonna go on record, they're gonna win some series during this season, all right? It's gonna happen.
Yeah, that is the good news, is the level of coordination, especially with an all-Korean roster, looks way leveled up. It's hard to judge them, obviously, against a team that's really strong in this meta, the Vancouver Titans. For those who didn't watch Runaway in Contenders Korea, they've been running this for a long time. They've been the best team at it, historically speaking. So it's no surprise that they do come in here and kind of run them over, especially when Shanghai still has a lot to figure out in terms of Gamsu playing main tank, and we just had Gregory kind of flexing over yesterday. So there's a lot of things that are going to kind of come together over the next few weeks for the Shanghai Dragons, and I completely agree. I'll go on record as well. This is not another 0-40 season.
No,
or
it's
0-24.
I was going to say, there's not 40 matches that they're going to be playing this season, but yeah, they will definitely pick
They're
up.
not going to go winless.
So there will be plenty more to cheer for the Shanghai Dragons. But right now, coming up, there's that opportunity to at least get one map win on the board against the Titans as we get ready to go to Escort. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at some stats from Temple of Anubis, because there was some pretty impressive stuff coming out from our Zenyatta players.
When you take a look at these stats here, you can see that Twilight's coming up with way more eliminations, but it's kind of a misleading stat because it was a very one-sided dominant match. But when you look at it, though, it's more impressive, in fact, to see that Luffy leads not only in healing, but also in hero damage done. So he had by far the more impressive individual play on the Zenyatta. The eliminations there on the bottom are a little bit less relevant, given that Vancouver Titans won each and every team fight.
Yeah, more kill-confirmed style here from Twilight rather than I am 1v6ing your team as Zenyatta like Jonik usually does. But still impressive all the same. Luffy doing his best, but we will have some substitutions coming out here. Guys, Stitch is taken to the stage for the first time, subbing in for So Min-soo. So we get the classic DPS duo of Stitch and Haksal.
That's right. Stitch, a long-range hit scan player, meaning he plays heroes like Widow, Soldier 76, McCree, instant damage heroes. We'll have Ding back in for Youngjin as well now.
So maybe some Sombra to come back out. Ding was phenomenal on that, really, nearly netted him the victory on Busan because of that Sombra play. So he'll be coming in for Youngjin rather than back out for Gregory, as we saw that swap earlier on. So trying some different things with the roster. I like it. Let's see if it leads to success.
Yeah, it's going to be potentially exciting to see Stitch on Widow or on the McCree.
You know, it is Dorado.
He might just be playing Zarya. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. But, we can dream. We can hope. I mean, the series is over. Maybe time for some flashy plays.
We'll find out. I mean, they certainly, they want to walk away with that 4-0. These guys aren't going to be playing around. They want to be as dominant as humanly possible. But, like I said, Dorado, if there's going to be a map where that Widowmaker could come out from Stitch, it is this map. This is where we would see him play Widowmaker a lot in Contenders Season 2.
And also, this is a map where we see, especially in Contenders' career, where this team is from their home region, we see a lot of Widowmaker and Pharah coming together on the defense in particular. So we can see Hakusal's Pharah combined with Stitch's Widow. Certainly something that may pop up here, especially if Shanghai Dragons are still going to be continuing on with that 3-3. But it's not all about the Vancouver Titans here. When you look at what the Dragons have been showing us already with Ding coming back in, very high chance we see a significant amount of Sombra, especially at the later parts of Dorado.
Yeah, I certainly do agree. I think that is going to be a highly expected pick for the Dragons as we jump into the final map of the night. I say night, it's really not that, it's not that late right now. 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
But it's still night, I guess.
It's dark out there. At least I think it is. We're still winter, You and I are still getting adjusted to time zone.
Very true. Here we are. Will be the Titans on defense first. So Dragons going to be looking for a very aggressive and successful attack. Try to get all the way to point C. Get that payload across the finish line. Give themselves a fighting chance to take away that map victory.
Gamsu, he first came on the scene long ago. His original team, Combox, he was one of the better Winstons back then. We've seen a lot of bouncing back and forth of which main tank is more popular. I think this is probably the most diversity we've ever seen in terms of main tank right now between Winston and Reinhardt. This is a map where that, we talked about the Pharah Widow being very popular. Shanghai Dragons have that locked in at the moment. Paired with the Winston can be very deadly. The Vancouver Titans running the more standard 3-3 here. And make sure the supports do not get into line of sight from DM.
Taking a couple shots already. Ding up in the air, gonna be looking for those rockets. Slamming him down, gets a couple nice hits here on the bumper. See Slime dropping. Pushing right up onto the cart actually are the Titans and Bumper, and he's gonna get picked. DM finds the first kill on Dorado. Cart gonna start advancing. No Winston, no bubble to deny this damage away really. Have to rely on that defense matrix from Janu.
Now, Twilight is the only person who can really hit this Pharah hard, and it's pretty unrealistic to hope that's going to happen while you're also under line of sight here from DM. If you're trying to poke the Pharah as the Zen, you're going to get headshot here, Bumper burned down, and the Dragons get a nice free push here around A.
Yeah, straight up into the marketplace. Headshot on the Hoxall DM. It's been unhindered in this backline so far. It's going to be shifting over to the side. Now trying to get the shot. There it is. Twilight taken down. Can he get another? Can he get Slime? Body shot, takes him low, Ding gets the alley-oop, scoops it up, and that is going to be point A gained by Dragons.
And this further gives context to what we saw on the Anubis defense. You know, if DM is having success with this Widow.
Look at this though.
If he's having success with this Widow, in scrims, maybe that's why they used the Torbjorn strat on Anubis, but Hoxall's had enough. He's not going to let him sit back there and do this for free. He's pulling out his signature Genji for the first time in the Overwatch League.
Stitch over onto the Widowmaker as well, in for sight, going to be up for DM. Trying to find out where DM is, but he's been very quiet this entire time. Pushing around the side, oh, takes a shot, now they'll be aware of it. It's a little bit of damage there from Twilight. Bumper tagged up off screen, slowly going to be getting healed up. Ding coming up around the top, has that barrage online. Hoxall spots it out. Pushing their way forward. Waiting for the rocket mercy. Jump back up, barrage gonna be coming down. Hoxall cuts right through him. Takes him straight out of that barrage. Oh, not gonna be getting too much. Stitch in the meantime will be traded out, taken down by Gregory. Now Hoxall dead, DM snipes him. Lose that on Luffy though.
That's absolutely a huge kill. Otherwise, those dash resets were going to get out of control, but still, with the res coming through, Shanghai Dragons in total control.
Self-destruct gonna be thrown down. Janu gonna be trying to make it back into the mech. Will not find any picks, and DM hounded down by Bumper with a primal rage. Card still starting to advance. Gamsu playing up near it.
You could feel how uncomfortable Vancouver Titans are actually going back to this old meta, these old roles they used to play, the Widow and the Genji. We discussed it, but it feels very rusty here. Bumper committing a primal in an odd time here, and suddenly Shanghai Dragons really putting the hurt on here. Dragon Blade's almost ready. No support ultimates with this. It's gonna have to be vanilla.
Nearly has it. Can see everybody. That infra sight being offered up by Stitch. Doesn't have that many ways to get into the back line. Nice headshots there on the Luffy. Can't follow up for a kill. Transcendent's gonna be online here for the Dragons. Can deny away all of this Dragon Blade damage.
He has to kill Luffy first if he's gonna make this blade work.
So taken low. It's gonna be the Valkyrie out from both of these Mercies. Dash through. Gamsu is gonna be taken down. Spots out the Widow. It's gonna be maybe trying to track her. Rez comes out from coma. Actually got that for free.
It's the threat of this Dragon Blade that's forcing Dragons to play so defensively. Here's the Blade, though.
Yeah, Blade's gonna be drawn out. Has to watch out for that explosion. Gets his way out of the bank, finds one. Now pushing up, deflection there on the DM. He'll get knocked down below half HP, but will be able to retreat with his life intact.
And it's moments like those you could see the experience of Hoxall. He doesn't chase there because he's potentially gonna die. Either way, Shanghai Dragons have already lost the fight. There's no reason to pad your KDA here and look for kills. When the fight is over, we have to wait for respawns for the Dragons. Very patient here. Finally, Vancouver has gotten back control of this map. DM still so focused on this Widow, does not want to change off. He's got the infra sight again. He's going to try to sneak around again. Avoiding Bumper is his goal.
Oh, nearly found Stitch there on that drop down. Headshot on the Bumper, however, as he peeks out. Transcendence used by Twilight just to get that Winston top back up. Janu does manage to find Gamsu, however. Not all at a loss. Drop down, looking for the finish here on a Bumper. Can't quite find it. Now the Primal Rage is going to be coming through. Get himself a double. Both damage dealers taken out of the fight by Bumper. Now Luffy as well eliminated. He's all the way over at the spawn, going low. The bubble comes down, and Slime is there for the pocket healing to pop him back up.
Huge play by Janu. Seeing the trance was forced, he actually committed there to kill Gamsu, knowing he had basically unlimited life there with that healing coming through. Once Gamsu's dead, Bumper knows he's uncontested to go forward, utilize that Primal Rage. No one can peel for the backline. However, there's no answer for the ensuing EMP here. Dragons could utilize this to have Gamsu pop off with this upcoming Primal Rage. It's going to have to be executed well. The Vancouver Titans are well split away from this, and with the Empress side out now, they know exactly where Ding is.
Yep. Zap's coming down as Bumper continues to play quite far forward. He's got Twilight there to back him up. Infra sight now going to be expiring. Ding.
EMP.
This could be his opportunity. Oh, Stitch! This could get sniped. Slime very risky going for that res.
EMP about to be used here, it looks like, for Ding.
Jump up over the top. Doesn't find anybody though.
Doesn't actually commit. He knows he wants to wait for the full team to respawn and go for another push. There it is.
He's gonna be fighting inside the EMP. Gonna be thrown down. Ding has to get himself out of there, going lower and lower. Gamsu with the Primal Rage jumping up onto the high ground. Gonna be looking for Twilight. He does not have that Transcendence available, but he's getting pocketed back up by Slime with a Valkyrie. So does not get the kill onto the enemy Zenyatta. Stitch sniped out again. Coma under some fire. Transcendence thrown in by Luffy, trying to keep everybody alive. Dragon Blade from Hoxel, however, finds Coma. Now no res for the extended fight. They're gonna look to pop Gregory out of that mech as we hit 25 seconds remaining on the clock for the Dragons. They're very close to closing this out onto B, getting that time bank bump up.
That just doesn't seem likely
But
though.
now Gamsu's gone. Hoxel dashes forward, finds Luffy.
Is dash resetting across the map here. Shanghai Dragons running this comp where they've got their comfort heroes here, but the comp does not work well together. There's no pairing between the EMP and the Widowmaker here. There's just no way to utilize these ultimates together, and the Vancouver Titans are just running them over.
Yep, Gregory trying to push up, forces out the OT, but approached with half health on that mech, gets popped out instantly. Twilight gonna be out sniping TM, takes him down. Gamsu gonna fall. It seems like this is about as far as it goes for the Shanghai Dragons. Close to B, but cannot quite get over that line.
There you have it. Dominant performance here by the Titans.
Yep, do manage to hold them off. You can see here, players getting set up now for that defense. Omen by HP. These monitors right here, guys, the players are playing on custom designed for the Overwatch League, and very soon you can own one and play like the pros.
That's right, they'll be available soon.
We need monitors.
Best monitor you could play on, yeah.
We didn't really bring monitors with us when we came to America,
I'm gonna pick one up as soon as I can.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to put it in order pretty soon here.
Well, I want to talk about what the Shanghai Dragons just tried to do. They try to utilize comfort picks, right? You got Ding back on the Sombra. He's good at hitting these EMPs, harassing the backline. DM clearly loves his Widow. He's building the Emperor sights quickly. He's doing enough damage, but not securing kills, right? That's the thing about Widow. She does burst damage, right? But if you can't kill the target, all you're doing really is building your own Emperor sight while also feeding support ultimate charge over to the healers who are going to repair that damage. And with a tank composition that's so sustainable, it's rough to actually get that value. And it just feels like the Shanghai Dragons have gone back to what feels comfortable per player, but there's no synergy. These comps don't come together. When you think about an EMP, you think about follow-up damage coming through from sustained damage, not burst. You think about sometimes the follow-up self-destructs you could see. But when we see Ding hit a 5-man EMP, Vancouver Titans just turn around and kill the rest of the Shanghai Dragons because there's just no follow-up there. It's going to be the Farah and the Widow this time, though, for the defense. No Sombra just yet.
Fairly creative spot here for DM. Trying to keep track.
Yeah, he's trying to use peek around with third person.
Not gonna have too much of an angle. He's trying to see if somebody's gonna be wrapping around that backside, but we'll go ahead, drop down. Gregory on the high ground, will retreat. As Bumper applies a bit of pressure. Cart just gonna start inching forward as we get ready to go through the underpass.
DM gonna have a hard time again dealing with Hoxel's Genji here. Starting to look more and more comfortable on this hero. Here comes the dash through.
Yep, deflection gonna be up. Drops back down as Gamsu goes forward. So far, no one really taking that much meaningful damage. As I say it, though, Bumper, headshot does come through from DM, weakening him. But again, not getting kills, just giving ult charge over to the supports. You can see Slime already 73%.
Yeah,
towards that Valkyrie.
If you can't get the kills, it just simply doesn't matter.
Okay, well, there's going to be one, really. Jano going to get popped out of the mech. Now Bumper taken down. Front line dismantled for the Titans. Only lose out onto the Widowmaker, so it seems like they'll be pretty well set to gain control of this cart in the choke.
So in the next push here for the Vancouver Titans, as they will be staggered here, it's going to be all about utilizing that Dragon Blade. It's really easy. It's really easy for Huxall to get into position with this when he's got double support ultimates available to force his way into the back line. If this fails, however, for the Titans, they're going to have to use a lot of resources, or it's going to cost them a lot of resources, and they may have to swap composition back to something like a 3-3 here, or their own Pharah, because they're just going to be using too much, and the time bank is bleeding out here right now.
The silver lining, getting this self-destruct away from Geggery, was quite far away from being able to jump off the map to try to get the reset. Didn't want to have to go back to the spawn. Janu as well gets his forced out just to make it back in, but Huxall's going to get picked. Ding is going to have that barrage online. He can just hold on to it for a little bit longer, you would expect. Rez comes in, but now Bumper's going to be gone, so
this has to be it.
They get the Genji, but it's not going to be getting much else. Barrage comes down, Ding. Nearly killing himself there, but Huxall goes forward, gets the melee hit to finish him off.
This is the closest the Dragons have been to a win since the first map here. Here's the Blade countered by the Trance. Only going to be the mech coming through. Here's the dash resets, though, potentially.
Escort Trance there from Twilight, trying to keep Huxall alive with the Dragon Blade, but it's not going to be enough damage to get any kills, and now he's taken down as Gamsu goes back forward. Stitch trying to snipe off onto the side, but Gamsu picks up a double, finishing off Twilight.
The first thing that happened in that fight was Slime using the Valkyrie early. Huxall dies regardless, doesn't get a good blade. He has to be rezzed. Then he pulls the blade out, forcing it there, because they know this is their only chance. They got to swap composition after it fails. And you see that's exactly what's going to happen here. They're going back to super old school two DPS here with the Stitch Tracer and Huxall Genji with Ana, Lucio. This is a composition outside of the Wrecking Ball that Runaway actually popularized.
60 seconds.
They're back in the day, so very well practiced for them. It seems it's going to be enough, though, because they have less than a minute now on the clock. Bumper going forward. Adaptive Shield doesn't really mean anything. He's just going to get picked off. Huxall nearly getting sniped here. Body shot from DM. Gets the tag. Ding. Again, scoops up the kill with a rocket, and Slime in the back will be finished off. Yeah, I'm just going to be hounding, looking to get a shot here on the Stitch, and that's the rocket again. They get the combo.
And the Shanghai Dragons are having really good communication and coordination. It's not going to be easy to pick off a fast-moving hero like Tracer without actually calling that out, having both the rockets from the Pharah and the Wither shots coming through. Shanghai poised to take this map right now as Vancouver gets desperate. Swapping Stitch over to the McCree, one of his signature hit scan heroes, but getting into position to duel the Widow is not going to be easy.
And let alone he had that double threat of the Pharah as well. Gets a couple shots in. Okay, Ding gonna be taken down. Coma, can he get the res is gonna be the question. Fanning the hammer. I think Coma's gonna be looking for it. It's got the Valkyrie popped. Gamsu under a little bit of fire. OT rolling through. Coma gonna be taken down right as that res comes in, and Stitch scoops up the kill. Ding put right back into the grave. Now pushing forward halfway, headshots out of the DM. He gets the double tap. Stitch takes him out with his signature McCree. Now Gamsu dead, and Vancouver Titans will be able to push into A right at the last second.
Bumper's got the barrier in the right spot. Stitch practically immortal. This is what Achilles and I like to call the protect the McCree cop. It's a glass cannon, meaning high damage output, low health, but because he's untouched, because the barrier positioning here for Bumper allows him to do that damage, to get those headshot kills, he bursts through several members of the Shanghai Dragons. It's exactly the hero they needed. Tough to execute, but the execution is perfect here for the Titans, and now they've got this cart rolling.
92% nearly has the Deadeye ready to go. Gamsu and Geggery gonna have to be on the spot to deny away that Deadeye, so everybody can retreat safely. Shots coming in. Yep, getting a headshot again. Another one. Can't quite get the kill though.
Untouched.
Yep, has not been tagged really. Pharmacy into the back. Stitch still's taking some shots. Fan the hammer trying to break down that bubble. Gamsu gets locked up. Fan the hammer again takes him low. He's gonna get cornered. Stitch going lower and lower. They're trying to pocket him back up. The Orb of Harmony not gonna be enough. Gamsu finds the kill with the Primal Rage. And still a minute and 25 seconds that they have to hold them off.
Getting back to the payload is going to be the biggest challenge for the Vancouver Titans. They have 5 ultimates, but they're not going to work together. Nice sleep here to stabilize for a moment. But these ultimates aren't going to get them to the cart. They're going to have to use Slime's speed boost, and they're going to have to slowly push up using, once again, the damage from Stitch. This is going to probably be an overtime push if they're able to get the win here. Easier said than done. Bumper splitting off from the main group here to try to draw the attention away as they do get to this cart. 60 seconds remaining here. We're going to see the Nano as well committed.
Sure that
to the
everybody's
Winston.
hopped up. Do we see the Electric Cowboy come out? No. Will be thrown in on a Bumper with a barrage. From Ding finds two. Stitch and Twilight both taken out. Bumper does manage to find DM in the mess of things. They need much more than that. Bumper gets a double, taking down Gregory. Self-destruct gonna be thrown down by Janu. Can he make it back into the mech? Looks like the answer is gonna be yes. So Rez is there from coma, puts CM back in the fight. Kamsu going low, however, now gonna be picked off. Janu finishes them off. The Rez is gone. They can't get their main tank.
They need Stitch here to do this damage to Ding here.
See Bumper going lower and lower, getting the armor pack out from Hawksall, just trying to keep that Winston sustained. 20 seconds remaining. Vancouver Titans so very close to this push. Janu finds Luffy. Valkyrie's up for coma, but he's got to stay alive.
Okay, Stitch now in position. This is the toughest part for the Dragons. They just need to be stable here.
Oh,
Look at the double
flanking from behind, the Deadeye coming down. The Pharmacy Cop is right out of there. Ding and coma. Both say goodnight. Another shot, the headshot there onto DM. Takes him out, the hit onto Gregory in midair. And in style, Vancouver Titans glide into the finish on Dorado.
4-0, and their opening debut here in the 2019 Overwatch League season. Absolutely dominant. We saw so much of what has made this team strong in Korea already here in the Overwatch League. We saw Stitch on the McCree. We got to see Haksall's Genji, a little bit of everything here, as well as that signature 3-3. They have already said they're the best team in the world at this composition, and I believe they've proved it here in their opening match.
Gotta see a little bit more from these guys. Just the first series of the 2019 season for the Vancouver Titans, but a phenomenal start for them. You can see right there. Gotta correct it, not run away anymore. It's Vancouver Titans, baby. But a 4-0 victory's gotta feel pretty darn good for them. Unfortunately for Shanghai Dragons, it's a bit more of the same.
Very impressive stuff from the Titans, a team that, you know, those hardcore fans who watch Korea for years will remember, but I think so many new fans will be made week after week as they appear here in the Overwatch League.
Oh, they keep playing like that.
Impressive stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely. Build up those fan bases. But guys, we have another interview here from Danny Lim down on the floor with Bumper, I do believe.
Thank you, casters. Blizzard Arena, give it up for Vancouver Titans. I have Bumper here with me. Now, Bumper, during the past couple of days, there was a lot of talk about who the best main tank is for the Overwatch League. Bumper, simple question. Do you believe yourself to be the best main tank currently in the Overwatch League? 자, 이번 오버워치 리그를 시작하면서 이제 며칠이 안 됐지만 지금 누가 최고의 메인 탱커냐라는 그런 질문이 굉장히 많이 나왔어요. 범퍼 선수 질문 쉽습니다. 자신이 최고의 메인 탱커라고 생각하십니까?
긴 말은 필요 없고 경기를 보고 결정해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
I'm not gonna say much. You guys could actually see throughout the match that we're going to play throughout the whole season, and you guys could choose the best main tank. All right, cool answer. Second question. Do you know, you had a very dominant game right now, and this was your first game in the Overwatch League. Any message to the Overwatch League teams? 자, 오늘 굉장히 좋은 경기를 보여주셨는데요. 또 범퍼 선수, 이제 앞으로 남은 경기들을 위해서 다른 팀들에게 한 말씀 하자면 무슨 말씀을 하고 싶으십니까?
다른 팀들이 멘탈을 좀 강화했으면 좋겠어요. 저희한테 다 4대0으로 질 거니까.
All right, so all the other Overwatch League teams, brace yourselves. We will beat you 4-0 every game. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, everybody. Give it for Bumper. Back to you guys, casters.
Thank you very much, Danny. Man, strong words from Bumper again. Very spicy. This guy is getting used to Al pretty quickly, it would seem.
Yeah, we had an upset with that first win for the Eternal earlier on. A great series with Spark just narrowly defeating Valiant. New York Excelsior coming out dominant as you'd expect. There were surprises, but there were also some pretty standard games here today, but it was a great day of Overwatch.
That it was, Wolf, but man, what a great day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, but make sure you stick around for Watchpoint as we wrap up the day.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.